Oh, you guys. Welcome, Shannon. Hello to the powerful everyday women of the world. Shannon's the guest today, guys. Just dropping the name early because I'm really in a soft, juicy space. Let's try and get this intro out as per podcast protocol. Whatever. You're listening to the Startup Stories podcast, where the ambitious everyday woman is heard, held, and served in life and business. I'm your host, Mia Frankel of Powerful Inc., the everyday woman's coach for living a peaceful and productive life. You'll hear relatable stories to keep you sane, grounded, and growing as you expand yourself and deliver your purpose to the world. Today, I'm joined by Shannon Coulter, who has such a gorgeous story to share with you guys and to pour into you with her tenacity, her perseverance, her commitment to her mission, no matter what. Because you guys, if you want it, you have to really want it. You have to want it more than whatever's in front of you at any given time. And that's a lot of the work that I encourage and help you through when we coach. And you see these stories come out with the women. So who is Shannon Coulter? She is already got a piece of my heart because she's on a mission to redefine, rebalance, and evolve people's relationships with their screens, kids, parents, families, as a society. She's an author, she's a coach, she's a podcaster, and she's a true leader who's going to be the one who takes a real stand and will, you know, like take flack where flack is given because people will resist and it's going to suck at times. But she's going to be that guy, she's going to be that woman and hold a standard for her mission and for her purpose, because the relationship with screens impacted her family dynamics. So when she met her love and his kids, she realized that they didn't know how to play outside for longer than 5 minutes. And I've experienced this too. I've got a stepchild and she is very dependent on her screen. And I see that everywhere. Like, oh, I go to the park, screens. On the bus, screens. At the airport, screens. Waiting at a red light, screens. It's really crept in like the lobster in the pot, that's getting boiled, or the frog. And it's taking over. And Shannon's like, not on my watch. Not happening. So from working in corporate as a communications consultant and wellness advocate, her heart shifted when she met her family, her husband and his kids, her new kids, and she felt a seed planted. And now we're going to dive into the story of what Shannon's done with that seed. And as we do so, I want to invite you guys to appreciate what she's done to build her business, appreciate what she's done to build herself, and imagine the creativity and freedom that you could gain back into your life, into your family, with less screen time. What does Friday night look like now? What does Saturday morning look like now? If we break the bondage of the screen, what could fill that space instead? So Shannon, welcome to the show and welcome to this conversation. I'm already covered in goosebumps and I can't
I
wait.
know. Well, I'm chill. I've got chills all over. I'm really grateful to be here. I absolutely loved that introduction. It's speaking from my heart. So I'm grateful for that. And I want to start because I love the taking the flag.
Ah,
I want people to understand and hear me right now because you might be watching us on a screen.
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
not anti-screen. I am not screen free. I am screen light because screens have been beautiful for us. They have done wonderful things for us. The problem is they've been changed from a helpful tool that serves us into a master
Mhm.
that does everything that we're serving. So I am trying to get people to understand what has happened and then take back their time, their energy, their freedom, their productivity And my favorite word in the world, their joy back from screens, because I don't think people actually realize how much it has to overtaken their lives. And I have been doing this for 17 years. I will tell you why it's been so long, and I will hopefully give you some encouragement to keep going with your dreams no matter what it looks like. But it was just about, let's see, it was August this year, 3.5 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my youngest is now 22. I have known him since he was 4. So he's, my baby. But I didn't get to have the baby, but he's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
baby. Um, and I was still upset with him. So I've been doing this screen light stuff with my kids since I met them at 4, 8, and 10, and they're still having some of the problems that we're seeing. Like they don't go out like we would go out.
Mhm.
I'm Generation X. I'm sitting there going, what is wrong with you guys? Thinking, even all this time as I'm doing this stuff, that something is quote unquote wrong with them or they're different from us. Like, why aren't you craving to go play, I don't know, sand volleyball or go out and hang out with your friends? Why, when you are hanging out together, do you have your phones out? Like, what's going on? And then why am I
Mhm.
seeing us doing that? And so I kind of gave him a hard time. It was August. Why are you home? And he looked at me and said the most profound thing. And you'd think I would have known this. He said, it's not our fault.
Mm.
And it just was one of those chill moments, also correction moments that you get. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not their fault. They're no different than we are. Their brains have been rewired.
Yeah.
So the part of our brains, because we grew up with interaction, playing, doing all these things, that part of their brain is really, and I used to call it the imagination muscle. Their imagination muscle was not developed or it has atrophied,
Yeah.
where ours wired for that. So we have no fear of talking face to face with somebody. We like it. It's our brain is ready for that. Their brains, because they were on screen so much, even mine, even 50% of the time, the neurons that wire together or fire together, wire together.
Yeah.
So that part of their brain got much bigger. And the part of their brain that for interaction, face-to-face talking, all the stuff that you're seeing in the 20 somethings right now and under,
Yeah.
that part of their brain didn't get trained.
Yeah.
So it is anxiety provoking for them. And when he
Yeah.
said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Because here I see those videos of those kids having like a major meltdown when
Mhm.
mom or dad takes the iPad away, going, you know, 3 months ago, I was like, what a bad kid. No, now I'm seeing an addict. It's an addict.
Yeah.
Imagine you see a video of someone taking a beer away from an alcoholic. They're going to have the same reaction because they're addicted to screens. And so when you said I was a coach, Mia, I am not a coach like her because I really want to point that out. I have a 4-hour program and it's 4 weeks, but it's 4 hours. It's an hour live once a week, and you can do it on your own. Where I am showing people because I felt so driven by this moment with Gavin. I am showing people the science behind phones, like
Mhm.
how they were purposefully developed to get us hooked to them. They hired behavioral psychologists, behavioral scientists to come in and purposefully addict us to our phones. Even the red dots, the notification dots, they picked red on purpose.
Right.
The
Yeah.
infinite
Color
scroll in
psychology.
color.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. The infinite scroll is based on lab rats. I mean, it's
Mhm.
it's disgusting. So I go through that because I want you to know it's not because you're weak, it's because they knew how to foil your willpower.
Yes.
So I want you to know that. I want you to be angry about that. I want you to be righteously indignant that they did that. It is the cigarette of the 2020s. They know what they're doing and they keep making it worse because you're just a commodity.
Yeah.
And then I go through the algorithm, and that's like the most upsetting thing. I started doing the Jerry Maguire who's going with me. I told him, I'm going to Congress like this. So the algorithms are just beyond like, oh, it's so mad. So I talk about those, and then I give tutorials like, here's how to shut this stuff off your phone because I don't want to send you back out on the internet. Like,
Mhm.
here's some tutorials. Here's how to put sleep mode on. Here's do not
Mhm.
disturb. Then I walk through what's going on with ours and particularly our kids' brains because it needs to stop. And
Yeah.
then in the end, I give you different methods that I've looked up, learned. I'm sure everybody's read Atomic Habits or at least heard of it. Like I just
Mhm.
take stuff from different people and I share like here's stuff you can try now that you know what's going on with your brain to break the chain. That's what it's called, break the chain from this phone. And the reason I was asking what you do, then I have people that have hours back in their day,
Yeah.
right? And now what are they going to do with it? I
Yeah.
send them to people like Mia.
Yeah.
Now go and build this part of you.
Yeah.
Because as I keep joking, I'm not a coach. I can't one-on-one you now. And it's not that I don't think I couldn't, but it's not my mission.
Mhm.
I want to send them to people whose mission it is to coach. My mission is to give you the tools to get there. And then where this all started is I have tools for moms and dads now to
Mhm.
get their kids off these phones, and I give them stuff they can compete with. Because one of the reasons Xers weren't on the phone is A, we didn't have it, but B, our parents were competing with it. Like they're like, go out and play. We had nothing else to do. But if you got screens, super easy to hand a screen to a kid when they're bothering you. And I'm not being like kids are
No,
annoying.
of course. Of course, but it has become so prolific, and
Mhm.
we've been innocent bystanders, like
Yeah,
primed to just
do
not
it.
discern and incorporate it into our daily life. And I'm still shocked when I see a grandma on the side of it. Like I literally saw this in one of my little small towns here. She's walking on a fairly busy road, stops to look at her screen. Another
Yeah.
full gray-haired had pulled over very part way in an off ramp to look at her screen, and maybe she's looking for directions, but like that's a terrible place to pull over. So the draw of it, of not even being able to go 5 minutes, yesterday I drove home and my stepdaughter called and texted 3 times to get a ride. I get in, husband says, did you hear from Mila? No, I'm not on my
Driving.
phone while driving, right? Like distract distracted driving and trying to create that space. And the other element, it's so profound because, yes, right now we're on screens, we're communicating, we're able to get this message out. We can create digital products, we can create global reach. But if you look at your screen time on your phone
Oh,
and consider what else could that time worship, exercise, leisure, laughter, like,
that's what I go
clean out
for.
the attic in
Thinking
the
something.
5 hours of your phone time.
That's what I go for. I told people I want to give you back a dream hour once a day. Just
Yeah.
the dream hour is just what have you been not doing? What have you been not doing? And people say like, what would I do without my phone? And I twist it. And I say, yes, what would you do without
Yes,
your phone?
exactly.
Like, and as soon as you try these little things, I just give little easy challenges, but you'll start to see, oh my gosh, I feel so much better.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And it's like when you are eating horribly and then you
Yes,
go and you start
thank you.
eating right again. And then like you're on a
Yes,
road trip and you go to McDonald's, you know, that one
yes,
McDonald's and you're like, oh,
yes.
how did I eat this all the time? That's how you're going to start feeling about your screen. Because the beautiful thing about all of this, about the way we're made, is our brains are plastic. So the part that they've been overtaking, the part that it's even overtaken these older people. It's
Yeah,
doing it to all of us. It does it to me. That's why I love teaching this class because it keeps reminding me. You've got to keep reminding yourself. This is
yeah,
addictive. This is not like breaking up with alcohol and you just don't have alcohol in your home. This is something you have to use to make a doctor's appointment. You need
that's
to
right.
be intentional about it,
That's right.
right? I don't
And
even
it
remember where I
applies
was
to
going,
all
but
ages, right? Like,
all of us. Oh,
like,
I know what I was saying. Like our brains have been wired for it, but the cool thing about our brains, the plasticity of it, the part that they use to do that is the part that we can use to unwire from it. And that is
mhm,
the best part. We have control over this.
mhm,
Uh, yeah, and I think another thing that's interesting, I researched something called mirror exposure effect, and I find it to be just it's fascinating and it's a marketing tool. And it's basically the more you see something, the more you start being exposed to it, the more it's just mere exposure, you start thinking it's better. So you might buy that one product. It's not because it's the better product, it's because it's the one that keeps popping up in your feed. It's
right.
a marketing thing. Well, that's happened, and I'm going to bring this up. It may be a little controversial, but it's happened to me too. That's wine. That's wine and moms. You see moms with wine all the time. Wine o'clock, wine. My mommy needs me to drink, blah, blah, blah. So wine has become a thing that's very normal for mothers because
Mhm.
they showed it all the time. Well, that's what you do. Same thing with screens. If I would say even 2015, if we had seen babies with cell phones, we would have been like
Shocked. Yeah,
shocked. But then it's
yeah.
everywhere. So then we're like, oh, I do that too. So I want to make
Mhm.
that not everywhere again. I want that to be shocking again. And
Yeah.
if people are like, "Oh, you're kind of over the top." No, what this is doing to our kids' brains is absolutely horrific and it's setting them up to fail.
Yeah.
It's setting them up to not be socially okay when they get older.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people look at Gen Z right now and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like they can't look in my eyes. They're rude." It's
Mhm.
because they're the first generation who went through puberty on a
On a
smartphone.
phone. Yeah.
Horrible. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine that. It's
Yeah.
hard enough to be in school. And now you have an online brand
Yeah.
and you're comparing yourself to everybody. So my whole thing is I can come on here and tell you all the, horrible stuff that's happening, but I want to be a part of the solution.
Hmm.
And that's been my thing for a really long time. So, do you want me to kind of give my story a little
Yeah.
bit, like what happened?
I
Okay.
do.
So as Mia mentioned, so I met my stepkids at 4, 8, and 10, and I think I'm being totally cool. I tell them to go outside and play.
Hmm.
And they came in literally 5 minutes later and said, Miss Shannon, that's what they call me, Miss Shannon, not anymore. They're all, you we don't know what to do. And I was horrified by it.
Yeah.
I was just, how do you not know you are a child?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it literally changed my life forever because I started doing research on it. As you said, one of the things I did was wellness communications. And so I would go into different companies and do some things called health incentive programs.
Mm.
So they probably still do a lot today. I haven't been in corporate for a long time, but it would be in any kind of company. I'd go in and we'd set up things that they could do anywhere from going for a walk by yourself to running a marathon. And then you get points for that. And then the company set up stuff you could buy with your points.
Ah,
It totally worked for
impact.
adults. Like
Yeah.
the feedback was awesome. People were doing great. I got to interview people who had completely changed their lives. It was amazing. And I found so much joy in it.
Yeah.
So I had said to my now husband, I said, why don't we just grow people up this way? Why are we going backwards and telling them they need to walk? You know,
Mhm.
and all this stuff. And as I'm saying that and seeing that, I meet these three little kids, and I'm like, this is going to be a problem. And now I know why it's a problem because, we're 17 years later and all this research has been done. But for some reason, I say it was Holy Spirit. I knew right then that this was going to be a problem.
Mhm.
And, I'm not a scientist. I'm none of that. But I think for me, it was more of the sadness that I was having that they were missing out on my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like, I always say this to people, but if you close your eyes right now, if you can, and you think of your favorite memory when you were a child, I have yet to meet someone to tell me it was being on a screen.
Mhm.
It's always something you were doing outside. It's always camp. It's always
Mhm.
something like that.
Mhm.
And I think if we love our children, we have to make sure that they get those memories. And we are stripping it from them. So I'm upset about this. So then I'm going on Google, and back then there was only Pinterest. This is like 2008. And I am so overwhelmed by all of the stuff they're telling me, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. And Pinterest, my God. And bless you if you are a Pinterest person and you're good at stuff like that. I am not. I am lucky I have curly hair and it does itself. Like I am just crafty. I'm just not good at that stuff. You know what I mean? I could go have someone else paint my nails.
Sure.
It's not. So I always say like my crafts are like the show Nailed It. Have you heard of
Okay.
that show on Food Network?
No.
Oh gosh, so it's a show. It cracks me up. It's a show where people who are really bad bakers come on and they try to like do like they show like a really cool thing that someone's baked, and so they try to redo it. It's
Okay.
called Nailed It because it looks nothing like
Nothing like
this.
it. Okay.
It's really and the people like take themselves lightly. It's hilarious,
Yeah.
but that's me
Great.
at crafting.
That's
Like I'm
fun.
like, well, that
Okay.
looks nothing. So I'm feeling that kind of angst.
Yeah.
And also like this is unorganized. How am I going to get kids to do it? So what I did is I left corporate America and I developed this health incentive program for kids. And
Mhm.
so it was a group of books because I wanted to get the kids interested in reading and doing the activities. But then I had a whole thing of activities online where the kids could go out and they all are tied to points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is stuff that we did like Hot Lava Monster. You're just not thinking of it as a parent in the moment.
Right.
And we have some with materials, some with no materials, but I just wanted to be super easy,
Mhm.
but freeze tag, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But we tied it to mind, heart, and body points. So, if your kids come home and they're not being nice, you can have them do heart ones. If they're sitting around all day, you can have them do body centered ones, like that are going to get them up and moving.
Mhm.
And we tied it all the points. And so the kids are earning points. So they're
Mhm.
wanting to do it, and I didn't know back then, but gamification is such a big thing.
Yeah.
So we've added points to it. And then the kids earn their points and then they can come back and mom and dad set up rewards for them to earn.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as anything you would give them anyway. But like if you Friday night, movie night, they can pick the movie. They
Mhm.
need to have 300 points to pick the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's to me, it was like a health incentive program for children. So that's what it is. Now, back then, I built a website with my husband. We raised all this money. This is before technology is like it is today. So
Right.
it was a lot of money to build a website.
Right.
This wasn't plug and play.
Right.
And
Like WordPress all behind.
yeah, this was
Yeah.
like you pay for everything to be done. And I did it wrong. You know what? I did it wrong. So hear me now. If you have a coach, listen to your coach. They know what they're
Yes, well.
talking about. I did not listen. Yeah. You're paying them for a reason. And we
Yeah.
went out with it. We didn't ask what anybody wanted. It was too overwhelming. And it came out right when apps came out. It was just terrible timing.
Mm,
I today tell you it was on purpose. I thank the Lord for it because I wasn't ready for it.
mhm.
My value system wasn't ready for it, and me as a parent wasn't ready for it. So I am grateful, but at the time I felt like such a failure because here I came out of this corporate consulting job, and now I'm a failed entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then, very strange story. I ended up being the single at-home parent with my with my stepkids. So my husband had to take a job in another state, and their mom moved to another state. So it's me and these three kids.
Yeah.
And I could not do right by them and try to keep this thing going. And so I tell you right now, if anybody has, but let me fast forward and then I'll come back. Now 2020 comes around, my kids are almost all out of the house. I'm looking around going, okay, this thing that I was worried about before is 100 times worse than
Mhm.
it was
Yep.
because now we've got the smartphone, the tablet. I have to come back out and do this. I've got to give this another go. I've never stopped dreaming about it.
Right.
So that's something I want to tell you. If it's still coming up in your dreams, you keep going. You keep going. There's something you're supposed to be doing. God will meet you. He will make it happen. You have got to keep stepping. You've got to keep going. I'm 17 years into this. I still have every fire in me. I know it's going to happen on his timing.
Yeah.
I just know it is. Is it hard? Yes, that
Mhm.
is hard. But you cannot put this mission down. You cannot put it down. You've got to keep going, particularly again, if you keep dreaming. So I kept dreaming about it. So in
Mhm.
the 2020s, I kind of rewrote my books that I had written to get them better. I had never written a children's book before. So I went in, I did a little more studying, and I got them more where I wanted them to be. And I started coming back out with this stuff. And what has been the most interesting thing to me is that I don't look at that entrepreneurship as a failure anymore. I look at it as a lesson. I
Mhm.
learned so many things. I just told you I'm about to have the meeting with the app developers right when I get off this call because this time I could make an app, but secondly, I listened to my coaches, and third, I did beta testing. And
Mhm.
so and I learned from that. I also, you now have a person who's been a mom. So
Yeah.
before I'm empathetic towards what you're going through. Now I'm sympathetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Right.
how about myself? But now I've been a mom all this time. I know what it feels like. I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And so I am grateful. And then I had my born again moment in 2020. I was raised Catholic,
Mhm.
but I, for some reason in 2020, I had an encounter with the Lord and he's my best friend now. And so
Mhm.
much has changed about me that
Mhm.
I'm grateful that it wasn't a breakthrough before because I
Mhm.
would have done stuff I would have had to repent for, that I wouldn't have been representing him well. So
Right.
there is the timing to everything you're going through. And I will say the sharpening, you
Yeah.
get sharpened and
Yeah.
he refines you.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going through, please keep going. And even if for some reason it doesn't turn out the way that you thought it was going to, it is going to build you up as a human being. And just it's amazing.
These
Yeah.
are like the whole point of everything that I stand for. These three things I just heard you say. One, and you guys really listen because the internet lied to you about how quickly you can develop typically an online-based business and have a mansion and buy a Jaguar and hand out diamonds at Halloween. Like it's lies. I know. I love the extravagance of handing out diamonds. I use it all the time because it's just so ridiculous. But the internet lied to you about that, the viral post and all these things. If 1,000 clients were to come knocking on your website or your door right now, would you be ready to face it? This is such an important piece. We don't expect babies to fly airplanes. When we are babypreneurs, we need to be made into leaders. We can lead from, like, leaders come in all sizes, but there is this very important refining that Shannon has laid down so significantly as to the stage of development that you're in to be the right leader for the movement. That doesn't mean that the mission isn't yours. It just means that you have to build up a bit more muscle before you lift heavier weights, right?
Absolutely. And you will be attacked. You will
Yeah,
be attacked. My message is particularly fun to attack, right? Why are you online if you're,
yeah, yeah,
and it It is so amazing because once you have, I love, you've been refined, you've been doing this long enough, you believe in your mission, it doesn't matter what people say.
Hmm.
The attacks don't matter
Hmm.
because you know in your heart you are, for me, I'm walking with God. I
Hmm.
know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I do not care what you say. And that's not the flippant, like I can be whoever I want. No. If you're walking, if you're not doing things by mean spirit and you are walking in this mission and you are out there to impact other people, it does not matter what people say about you. It just doesn't matter. And you will stop. I'm not saying I like it, but it
Hmm.
doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's bigger work than what the flesh is experiencing, and it's
Yes.
important. The other piece of what you said is that the mission is always yours. And, we may think it's going to come to fruition at a certain time, or we may, and this is where it really breaks my heart, we may think that it's not actually what we're here to do. And so we put it away and it goes into storage,
Yes.
but it's always in storage. If you sell your house, you got to deal with that attic. Like, you're not going to sell your house with an attic full of stuff from 30 years ago. You got to take it with you.
Yes.
The mission, the desire of your heart is like that. And even though it goes into storage, it's not gone. And it will whisper to you throughout your life and patiently wait for you to become the leader, become the version, become the malleable servant of God who can breathe it into life. So that's timing, because if we're sitting in anxiousness and yearning for a result, which I am constantly like, when?
I know.
I'm
Oh man.
like
Yes.
having to calm down and just be like, as much as I'm breathing, this is happening, right?
Mhm.
And releasing that, then the real fertilization can start to happen and you can start to move
Absolutely.
without like your nervous system constantly freaking out.
Well, I want to share something. This is incredible timing, but for some reason, I like to wake up in the middle of the night. Okay, I'm not saying I like to. That's not.
Yeah, me
But
too. It's
yeah,
great to sleep for only a few hours at a time.
yeah, yay! Um, but that's the best time that I'm the best at listening. So maybe that's what's going on because
Right?
the Lord's like, well, this one will actually finally just pay attention, right? And I do want to share this. This just happened to me Sunday night, Monday morning, right? So coming into Monday. So people don't know what day it is. Duh, 2 days ago.
Tuesday.
Um, yeah. So I just wanted to share this with you because it was so impactful for me. But I listened to this teaching, and this man was teaching that no Christian should ever be depressed, worried, anxious. And how do you say that? And he says, because if you can keep magnifying the Lord,
Mm,
and if you can keep that in front of you, you can get out of your head. And so, how do you magnify something that's already so big? Magnify the promises of Him for you.
mm,
And he said, the Bible is your mirror.
mm,
So, look in it and see what it says about you. And so, when you get into those moments, you can start saying the stuff that you know is about you. I'm the head and not the tail. I am a lender, not the borrower. Everything I touch is blessed. My storehouses are full. And you start saying that stuff, and I'm telling you, it brings your heart into a place and your head into a place where you know to keep going. And I wanted to share that because you're absolutely right. It is hard when it doesn't take off right away. And the internet has lagged because, obviously 17 years is a long time, but it's what this woman needed.
mhm,
I needed a lot of maturing. I needed a lot of things to happen with me. But to not break and to believe it in your heart, say these things out loud. I mean, people say faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word. Write some positive things down. Write what he says down about you and say them and say them and say them and say them. Get yourself out of your own head. I just really like that you shared that because that was the revelation I just had.
yeah,
This is going to work. I just have to keep walking to it and stop listening to the lies that are coming at me.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
wanted to share that because it was very impactful for me because I realized I was saying stuff. You can believe something in your head and not get it into your heart, and it's not going to go anywhere. You've got to get it into your heart. And that's where I'm working on this week. And I'm about to get off this call with Mia and go to something. And she said the most beautiful thing to me that I'm just at my breakthrough.
Mhm,
And I have chills saying it, but I believe it took this long because the Lord didn't want my breakthrough to break me.
Yeah.
He wants me to be able to remain humble and a child to him and, like not let this stuff take me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if I am ever handing out diamonds, I'm doing it in the name of him, right? It's not pride, right? I love that joke. That's so funny. But that was so impactful for me that you said that because that's what I have to work on. You've got to get out of your head.
Mm. This is, I was having this conversation with my coach yesterday because of where I'm at spiritually and physically and the desires. And I have a constant state of like rushing. I gotta
Mhm.
rush. I'm always in a hurry. One of the songs I listen to is I'm in a hurry to get things done. And it's a really good song to remind me to slow down. I'm driving a broken truck right now that can only go, 60, 70 kilometers, 30, 40 miles an hour. Slow down. And what I hear you, Shannon, is mirroring the image back, which is a beautiful um, flip the script of how you described marketing tactics in the mirror before. If we mirror and magnify the Lord, all these other things fall away. And there's a difference in, yeah, belief and identity. And so the conversation with my coach was conviction versus identity.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and conviction being a firmly held belief or fact, identity being a much higher sense of self that is unshakable, right?
Mhm.
So believing in myself as a coach, I'm convicted I'm a coach, where my identity says I am a very powerful servant of the Lord with a tremendous opportunity for good influence. That's
Yeah.
right. Like it's just such a another step up into accepting your mission, which then lets all these other logistics around it fall away. Because Shannon, after your app call, are you going to be like, man, I wish that? No, you've already acknowledged multiple times that you are fine with the timeline. And
Mhm.
one example I like to refer to is Sarah Blakely of Spanx. She has this beautiful timeline of like literally a poster board in the living room of her just so adorable and young to standing in front of her gazillion-dollar building with Spanx logo on it. Was it worth that timeline? Like, of course. Of
Yes.
course.
And I want to tell people too, if it seems like I keep bringing up the 17 years, but I want you to hear that. Do you think it has felt like 17 years?
Right?
Oh, life goes really fast.
Right.
It goes really fast. And there's been a lot of awesome stuff that's happened in that time. I really think if you're doing something for the Lord, the devil is not going to roll out a red carpet for you. He's going to
Yeah.
make it real hard too. Remember, he's going
Oh,
to
by
make
all
you feel like
means,
poop
you may
all the time.
pass. Yeah,
Yeah, I
no.
always know. Yeah, exactly. So that's the other thing to remember too. But I really want to encourage people, no matter how bad it is, and have people in your life that can encourage you. You
Mhm,
need that.
mhm,
Challenge you too, not like just encourage you, but to just pick you up on those days that you're down,
yeah,
because you're not going to be motivated all the time. People who say like you'll get up and get motivated, no,
yeah,
that like I like to say that willpower is only strong in the morning.
yeah,
Okay.
if
Like,
then, or like maybe 11 p.m.
yeah.
Get my
Dude,
second wind.
you've got to have your conviction about you.
Yeah,
You really do have to have your conviction about you because that's when it's going to keep you going every day when you get 8 views on something,
yeah,
right? Like how
yeah,
many times do I have to do something? Get the 8 views, everyone, because someday somebody somewhere is going to watch that and they're going to go back to that video and they're going to see like she's been doing this for this long,
mhm,
or one of those 8 views is going to be something that that person needed that very day and you've saved their lives. Like
yeah.
just do it. Just do it. And I think that's the other thing with all this social media stuff. We've really, and I'm preaching to myself, we've really taken the views and the likes to mean more than they do.
Because
It
if you
doesn't,
touch one person's life,
yeah,
that's good obedience. That's
yeah,
good legacy. Because
yeah.
it's not up to us to determine the ongoing effect in that person. But, uh, in changing someone's life, it plays its role in the collective and it peters
Oh,
out and
yeah.
around.
And
forever.
what are the other things I always like to say? Because I sometimes have to tell myself this too, is like we're all part of the same body.
Yeah.
And for some days you're going to be the liver. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be
Right.
like totally like I'm a big thing. Some things you're going to be the heart. Some things you're going to be this toenail on the small toe.
Yeah.
But you still need it.
Yeah.
The body needs you
Or
there.
I
It's
go
going to
to the
hurt.
butt.
Your
I'm
butt.
12.
Today your butt. Yeah. You got to sit on you. I need my butt. Right? But yeah, like if you feel like, oh, I'm not that much here,
Yeah.
think about how it would feel to not have one of your toenails. Not
Yeah.
a comfortable day.
Yeah.
You're needed too. Right?
Yeah.
So I think we just have to keep telling ourselves like this is okay. And I just love that. Even if it just impacts one person, it's
Mhm.
impacted one person.
Mhm.
And you don't know where that went with that one person.
That's right.
Maybe it was a teenage girl that you impacted. You stopped her from hurting herself, and now she's a grandmother
Yeah.
with 9 grandkids.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, good and faithful servant. Like, that's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super beautiful. So, oh my God, where do we go from here? This conversation is so rich and is so beautiful. So, where do you want to take us? You want to take us through what it was like coming up with the books and what's been different from when you started to how you're doing it now for like the
Yeah.
busy
Yeah.
side of running an actual business?
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I think the biggest thing I would say now, I'll go for now because what happened to me this year is in April of this year, I had met this wonderful woman a couple months back, and we went out to lunch, and she said something to me that like slapped me across the face in the best way. I love her.
Mhm.
But I was complaining, and I want you to hear me. I was complaining about the same story I've been telling myself since I was a little kid. And it's like, oh, my family thinks this, and I love my family, but my family thinks this, and they think this about me. And I'm not going to get into it because I'm not going to give it any more time of day. She looked at me and she goes, how much longer are you going to tell that story? How much longer are you going to hide behind that?
Right.
Oh, man, what a slap in the face. And I came home and I told my husband, I said, I'm going to take, it's in Matthew. You would not put a light on top of a hill and put a basket over it. I said, I'm going to take the basket off of this lamp. And he goes, finally, finally. And it was just rise and shine, rise and shine. And so what I'm doing now is instead of focusing like how much money am I going to make? What am I going to say today? I am just doing my best to focus on the impact that I'm having.
Mhm.
So it goes back to what we were just saying. Like, I just want to have an impact. I want people to understand what this is happening. I want to see kids outside again. How do I get there? And
Yeah.
then along the way, that really started me going. I just started going on podcasts. I was so scared to do that before. I am having the best time on podcasts. I'm meeting the most beautiful people.
Yeah.
And I just stepped into it. Did I know what I was going to do? No, but just trust and go with it. So I think it's more that I think it's less worrying about the views and the likes and all
Mhm.
that stuff
Mhm.
and just walking the path. It's very important having people in my life, like I said, who will coach me, who will push me, who will keep my mindset strong, who will keep my faith strong. I think it's very important. I'm always reading a mindset book and a faith book
Right.
because your brain, like the warfare happens in your brain.
Yeah.
There's physical warfare too, but most of it is right here. It's that, you're not good enough. You can't do this. No one's going to like it.
Yeah.
You know what? Get thee behind me, right? Just be quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I
Delete.
think delete, yeah, leave me alone. Or call someone if you need more help through
Yeah.
it. But I think it's just, and it's I know I'm doing this. I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm in the will of the Lord. I am going to keep going and I'm not going to worry what other people think. So it's all those lessons. And then when you do screw up, which you will, it's not a screw up, it's a lesson. So it's the maturity of all of that has been completely different for me. And there's going to be naysayers no matter what you do.
Of
You
course.
cannot please everybody.
Well, Oprah has bad book reviews. Mother Teresa. I'm sure if we research, we could find some negative things about Princess Diana.
Yeah,
Pick some
I'm
of them.
sure.
Like
Mhm.
this is the duality of good versus evil on earth, where people will always find a way to go against popular opinion or saintliness, right? There's always going to be criticism there.
Mhm.
And so instead, it's like embracing that as a good sign then
Yes.
that you're
Yeah, you're coming up
onto
against something.
something.
Yes.
Like, what about
And
Jules Verne's who talked about travel under the sea or when NASA was trying to go to the moon? Like, it would have been crazy
crazy.
airplanes. right? But they stuck it out, and here we are benefiting from it. So
Exactly. And I think the other thing is, which I had to work on. So I write these books. I wasn't a children's book author, and I
yeah,
wrote them the best to my ability.
yeah,
I did the best I could. I'm not going to go and compare myself to other authors because that's
exactly.
going to be comparison is a thief of joy. Not going to do it. And realizing that some people are going to like them and some people aren't, and that's okay. I don't like everything that's popular among everybody.
Of
That
course.
doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not my taste. So
And
that's the other thing.
the different, I'm going to call it sizes of leaders. This is, like the everyday woman as a stereotype is the one who's not Oprah, who's not Brene Brown, who's not pick somebody from Europe, a different non-North American famous person. It's like, I got to do some research on that. But she is having an impact. So if you guys didn't know, and I don't know how you wouldn't know as listeners of the show, I host this Everyday Women Summit 3 times a year, 2025, 2026. P.S. Shannon, heads up, I might come for you
Yay.
to participate in some form. And one of the women is on her way, she was on her way yesterday to a TV show, And so it's like she's at home, she's cooking, she's working, she's got the kids, and she's going to a TV show. This everyday woman is working 2 jobs, running the podcast, coaching, and I got picked to go on a trip to coach in South Africa. Like I'm not Brene Brown, y'all. I'm like, regular old Mia doing my thing, but that's the power of the impact that we can have, like you're saying, Shannon, is, we've got like the Robert Munches and, the lady J.K. Rowling who wrote Harry Potter. We have these like phenomenal, sensational, huge children's authors. We also have the Shannons and
Yeah.
maybe my husband Chris, because I think he would make such a great like cartoon book for kids, like of all shapes and sizes to deliver what we have to deliver and to fill in, spaces in the
Well, and
world. Like,
I think so too. And if I want you to think about like when your kids bring you a drawing and it's
mhm,
not very good, right?
mhm,
But to you, it is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, and it's so
that's
cute.
right.
That's how God thinks about our work.
Yeah,
Most beautiful thing he's ever seen. It's his kid. You're going, this is what I made, Dad. Like I had to get there. And one of the other things I've done, I have to remind myself to do this all the time. But I finish something, I go, it is good. Because that's what Dad did. He created it and he's like, that's good.
good.
So
That's right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. And I want to say something that I didn't say before. I may have touched on a little bit, but if people are listening to this and you're like, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, please.
Mm,
That is the best thing I've done this entire time.
mm,
And even though I felt like a failure when my business didn't work, I cannot imagine had I not fulfilled that part of my life. And I just want you to know if you're sitting here, like I said, listening to this and going, well, I'm not doing any of that. You are doing the most important thing ever. You're helping a soul.
yeah.
You're helping somebody. And I just want to make sure that you don't downplay that because our society has downplayed that. And that makes me very upset because it is the most important role. It's what we were made to do.
Yeah.
And I hope, really hope that that starts coming back to us. And it's one thing that I think before we got on, I was saying like, I need a cultural shift with what I'm trying to do because I am finding that because moms are at home right now and we have social media, they're not getting to know their neighbors.
Mhm,
And that is such a recipe for loneliness.
mhm,
And I think that's why people are so stuck on their phones. And I think that's why there's so much competition between us because we're comparing ourselves to people we don't know. And our friends, we can talk to someone 3 states away, a country away. We're not talking to our neighbor. And so we're
yeah,
missing out on play dates. We're
yeah,
missing out on advice. We're missing out on sharing recipes. We're missing out on you watching my kids when I have to go do something. So that's another thing I really want to start working on. Let's get to know each other again.
mm,
Let's
yeah,
put the phones down and like go out and like have a neighborhood thing,
yeah,
And I that kind of was a tangent, but I just always want to make sure that people know that because when I was out of everything and just being the mom,
Mhm.
I started feeling bad about myself. And now I look back like, that was what a blessed time that I had, that I was able to do that. I know some people aren't even able to do that, but don't look down on yourself. Yeah.
It's, it's such, again, big piece of my heart too, because we are humans first.
Yeah.
Humans first. And if you had to choose between kids or your business, if you have kids in your life, you're gonna choose your kids. You're gonna chew your hand off for your kids. You will not chew your hand off for your business. And the mission, in Shannon's case, in my case, in a lot, is born to be a leader and an inspiration to the next generation and to the
Mhm.
women beside us. And never like it's God, family, work is further down the list. It's further down the list. And that's been a big shift for me because when I started online with online business manager and, services, I remember I'd always have Georgia, who was a newborn, right here, and I'd be like, "Oh, a selfie, haha, look at working mom, ha ha ha." That was the mirror effect of what was being shown. Like,
That's what's being shown. Yeah.
portable business, work with your baby, da da da. And and I spent time away from the computer with her for sure. I'm driven. I love smashing things out, creating. But now I do it in the morning. And when I come home, it's like really time to focus and be present with the people that I love, with the
Yeah.
people that are bonded to me in a way that my work won't be. And
Well, and it will make you so much more productive at work
yeah,
because
yeah.
you get filled back up with
Yeah.
creativity and happiness and joy. And I love that you brought that up because that mere exposure thing. I mean, we're the generation of Sex in the City. You don't need a
Mhm,
husband. You don't need, yes,
mhm,
we do. We
mhm,
need love. We need family. If it's not
mhm,
for you, that's fine. But
mhm.
I'm tired of being told that it's not good enough.
That's right.
And I really want people to just say, Just be quiet.
Yeah,
This is my life." Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and as long as you're walking in joy and like kindness, it really doesn't matter how you shape up with other people. The
Mhm,
internet doesn't matter.
yeah,
Like, so I love that you said that because it's screwing up a lot of people and it's screwing up a lot of kids. They're trying to compare themselves to something like the internet lied to you.
mhm,
Entrepreneurship is not one viral post because if you get the
mhm.
viral post and you've got nothing behind it,
Yeah,
uh-oh, what are you gonna do?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You fall flat.
You fall flat.
Mhm.
Yeah, you've got your, 5 seconds of fame.
Yeah,
Who cares?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Exactly. Like the football hero who never leaves his hometown or takes off his jacket because he's constantly living in his high school dream, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Don't,
you want
yeah.
you want to be a whole person who's got the multiple cups of what life has to offer, feeling good. And this is where community can help do that, where Shannon and I can help do that, where we can just find ways, like you're saying, to connect deeper back to one another, really. And I love that, like the human touch again. And you guys, from what I'm seeing on the internet, ironically, is this call to get back together in real life. So, like retreats, community events, street parties, they're called
Yeah.
out here, where you apply to town hall, you get a permit, and you close the street, and then like all the neighbors come out,
Just
have a
go out and meet each
barbecue,
other.
right?
Yeah. You don't have to be
Yeah,
best friends, but just know each
yeah,
other. So if you need
yeah,
some sugar, you can
yeah,
ask them for
yeah,
it.
yeah. Have a cup of coffee. Let them know if you're out of town to watch the house.
Wash your
Like,
house. Yeah, all that
yeah,
stuff. We've got an older neighbor. You can get wisdom from
yeah,
them. Oh,
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to have to talk some more, but we're going to have to let you go right now so you can go smash that app call. So, you
Yes.
guys, I'll
Yes.
share Shannon's links. She's got this great new product out called God's Dad Jokes. I'm really excited about it.
I'm going to send you a copy. I'm going to
Okay,
send you a copy.
beautiful.
Yes, for
Thanks.
sure.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll be putting that under the tree and we'll keep in touch. And if there's any other closing remarks you want to say, like this has just been the best.
Yeah, I've had a wonderful time. I am so, like I said, honored and grateful to be here. And I really want to express to people again, because it was such a life-changing moment for me. Don't put a basket over your light. Let
Mm,
it shine. Just let
mm,
it shine.
mm.
And just enjoy yourself. Keep marching forward. And when the devil comes to tell you you suck, know you're on the right path because he
Yeah,
wouldn't bother you if you weren't.
yeah, yeah. You'd be like, I already got her, so I
Yeah.
don't need to fuss.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
So that's it. But thank you so much for having me.
Oh, beautiful. My pleasure.